When we think of jealousy, we often imagine an overt, almost childish reaction, someone fuming with envy, throwing insults, or trying to sabotage your success in an obvious way. But in reality, jealousy often wears a much subtler mask. It doesn't always come with glaring signs, and that's what makes it so insidious. The first thing to understand is that jealousy often masquerades as something far more benign, something that can catch you off guard, backhanded compliments, or subtle forms of undermining. At first glance, these actions may seem innocent, but over time, they can chip away at your confidence and self-worth. Take, for example, someone who appears to be complimenting you, but there's a sharp edge to their words. It might sound like this: "Wow, it's amazing that you managed to get that promotion, considering how many people were more qualified than you." On the surface, it seems like a compliment, doesn't it? They're acknowledging your achievement, but there's a small jab hidden beneath the surface. The true meaning of that comment isn't support or admiration. It's a thinly veiled critique designed to make you doubt your abilities. They're not celebrating your success. They're attempting to diminish it. These kinds of comments, while seemingly harmless, are often the first sign of jealousy creeping in. And here's the thing. It's easy to dismiss them as harmless banter. After all, they're not outright insulting you. But what happens when these backhanded remarks continue? Over time, they start to accumulate and they begin to erode your confidence bit by bit, even if you don't consciously realize it. The worst part is that these types of remarks are often made with the intent of making you second-guess yourself. They try to plant seeds of doubt in your mind about your own worth, your success, or your abilities. You see, jealousy doesn't always want to be seen. It knows that if it shows up as full-blown aggression, you recognize it right away and react accordingly. But when it wraps itself in a seemingly friendly package, it's harder to identify. A person who is jealous of you might not outright say, "I hate that you're successful," or "I don't think you deserve this," because that would make them look bad. Instead, they'll hide behind comments that sound almost like compliments. They'll call your achievement lucky or claim that anyone could have done it. It's all about diminishing what you've worked hard for without sounding like an open critic. These little comments are just the beginning. Over time, someone who's jealous might continue undermining your accomplishments in ways that seem completely unnoticeable in the moment. Maybe they'll make light of your hard work or tell you that the success you've achieved wasn't really that difficult. They may try to shift the focus away from your accomplishments, subtly redirecting attention to their own achievements or experiences. This is often disguised as a well-meaning conversation, but it has one clear purpose: to remind you that your victory isn't as valuable as theirs. It's important to recognize this early on because while it might seem trivial at first, these backhanded compliments and subtle jabs are rooted in insecurity. They're not just about diminishing your achievements. They're about making the jealous person feel better about themselves. When you rise, they feel threatened. And when they feel threatened, they lash out in ways that might seem like support or harmless teasing, but in reality, they're trying to keep you down at their level. You might wonder why they do this. Why can't they just congratulate you and celebrate your success like anyone else? The answer lies in their own insecurities. A jealous person feels that your success highlights something they lack in their own life. It exposes their fear, their doubts, and their own perceived failures. Rather than confront these feelings head on, they deflect them by subtly undermining you. It's not personal, even though it might feel that way. It's about their own internal struggle, not your worth or your accomplishments. Recognizing this behavior early is key because it allows you to protect yourself from the impact of these small but cutting remarks. If someone is constantly undermining your success in the form of backhanded compliments, it's a sign that they might not be as supportive as they appear. And while it's always important to stay grounded in your own self-worth, It's also crucial to recognize when someone's comments are designed to bring you down or keep you from reaching your full potential. The challenge lies in how we respond. When faced with these subtle acts of jealousy, it's tempting to react with defensiveness or frustration, but that only feeds into the cycle. Instead, understand that their words are not a reflection of your reality. They are a reflection of their own struggles and insecurities. With this understanding, you can maintain your focus on what matters, your journey, your achievements, and your own growth. Now, I encourage you to think about how you've responded to these types of interactions in your own life. Have you recognized the subtle signs of jealousy in others? And how have you allowed their words to affect you? Understanding the true nature of jealousy and how it often shows up as backhanded compliments or subtle undermining will empower you to remain confident and focused on your own path. When you see it for what it truly is, you no longer have to take it personally. You can rise above it. Let me know if you would like me to further adjust or expand any part of this. Another common sign that someone might be feeling extreme jealousy toward you is their tendency to downplay your success while simultaneously highlighting their own. Now, this can be one of the more difficult behaviors to spot because it doesn't always come with a harsh or negative tone. In fact, this is usually more subtle, an artful way of diminishing your achievements, all while subtly inflating their own. It's as if they're attempting to place your victories in the shadows and shine a brighter light on their own experiences, no matter how insignificant. It's a kind of unspoken comparison game, and the underlying message is clear. You're doing well, but I'm doing even better. It might look like a situation where you share some good news. Maybe you've landed a new job or completed a major project. And someone responds by saying, "That's great, but it must have been easier for you because of insert reason." Or perhaps they follow up with, "I actually did something similar and it wasn't as difficult as you're making it seem." What they're doing, in essence, is dismissing your hard work and downplaying the true significance of what you've accomplished. In doing so, they're placing themselves on a pedestal and making your achievements appear less remarkable in comparison. It's an underhanded way of ensuring they remain the focal point while subtly making you feel like your success doesn't really matter that much. It's important to notice how often they redirect conversations back to themselves. For example, after you share a story about how much effort you put into a particular achievement, they might not ask you more about your process or celebrate your accomplishment. Instead, they quickly steer the conversation toward their own journey. It's as though they cannot bear to let the attention be fully on you for too long because deep down, they feel threatened by your success. Their discomfort with your achievement stems from the fact that, in their mind, your success somehow diminishes their own sense of value. Now, you might think to yourself, well, everyone talks about themselves sometimes. Is it really such a big deal if they mention their own achievements? And to some extent, it's true. We all naturally share our wins with others. But when this behavior becomes a pattern, it starts to become more than just casual conversation. It becomes a tactic to undermine your confidence and inflate their own sense of self-importance. A jealous person often feels the need to constantly compare themselves to others because they can't fully accept their own worth unless they're constantly one-upping someone else. In some cases, the jealousy is even more subtle. Perhaps they don't downplay your accomplishments in direct terms, but rather try to focus on the negative aspects. For instance, if you land a new client, they might focus on how hard it is to keep clients in the long term, or how the market has become much more competitive. While they might not say, "Your success isn't impressive," they imply it by shifting the focus from your achievement to the difficulties ahead, making it seem less like an accomplishment and more like a burden. Again, the goal here is to make you feel like your success isn't as valuable or as secure as you think, while making their own story sound superior. This kind of behavior is deeply rooted in insecurity. The jealous person feels threatened by what you've achieved because it highlights the gap between where they are and where they wish they could be. They might not consciously realize this, but subconsciously they are trying to create a narrative in which your success is minimized and their own life seems more impressive in comparison. It's as though they can't handle the idea that you've surpassed them in some way, and so they'll attempt to level the playing field by making their own accomplishments seem bigger, more important, or more impressive. Sometimes this might manifest in a more indirect way. Instead of dismissing your success outright, a jealous person might try to make you feel guilty for your achievements. They might imply that you're lucky or that you had some unfair advantage. This is their way of saying, you didn't really earn this, or you don't deserve it the way I do. It's a form of passive-aggressive manipulation, a way to make you question whether your success is truly your own or if it was something given to you by circumstances, connections, or luck. It's a clever way of undermining your achievements without being overtly hostile about it. The truth, of course, is that their response has nothing to do with the objective value of your accomplishments, but everything to do with their own inability to accept their own place in the world. Ultimately, this tendency to downplay your success and highlight their own is a reflection of their inner dissatisfaction. They're not so much focused on you as they are focused on themselves. They see your success as a reminder of what they haven't achieved or what they're afraid they may never accomplish. It's a reminder of their own inadequacies. And so instead of celebrating you, they feel compelled to either minimize your achievement or turn the spotlight back onto themselves. The jealousy is never really about you. It's about how your success makes them feel about themselves. The best way to deal with this behavior is to not take it personally. Recognize that their comments or actions come from a place of insecurity, and their need to redirect the conversation or diminish your success is a reflection of their own struggles, not your worth. You don't have to defend your accomplishments or justify your successes. Simply continue moving forward, knowing that you are worthy of every victory you've earned. As difficult as it might be, keep your focus on your own path, and remember that their words are just that. Words. You've earned your place, and no one can take that from you. Let me know if you'd like further adjustments or additional expansion. A third, often subtle, sign that someone may be harboring extreme jealousy toward you is when their support feels forced or conditional. This can be incredibly tricky to detect because on the surface they might still appear to offer help or encouragement, but there's something off about it. It's like when someone offers a compliment, but it feels hollow, as if it was said out of obligation rather than genuine belief. With a jealous person, the support they offer is rarely unconditional or consistent. There's often an agenda behind it, and it can leave you feeling confused or unsure about where you stand with them. At first, their actions might seem like typical friendly gestures. Perhaps they'll offer help when you're working on something or claim they're rooting for your success. But what you'll quickly notice is that their support only extends as far as it benefits them in some way. They're there when it serves their needs, but once you start to gain something significant or surpass them in any way, that support quickly fades. The same person who seemed to be cheering you on might suddenly become distant or cold. They may not outright oppose your success, but they'll become passive in their enthusiasm, leaving you wondering whether their support was ever truly genuine. It's in these moments, when the going gets tough or you're in a position of greater success, that the jealous individual's true colors often begin to show. True supporters will stand by you through thick and thin. They'll be happy to celebrate your wins, and they'll provide a helping hand when you need it without expectation of anything in return. But a jealous person, their support is often linked to how they feel about themselves at that moment. The moment they feel threatened or envious, that support starts to dry up. It's almost as if they're incapable of truly celebrating your success, because doing so would force them to confront their own insecurities. Another important aspect of conditional support is that it often feels forced. It's as though the jealous person feels they should be supportive of you, but they're doing so out of some sense of duty or obligation rather than from a place of sincerity. You might notice that when they do offer help, it's not because they believe in your potential, but because they feel they have to appear supportive. Their help doesn't come with enthusiasm or warmth, but rather with reluctance. You might even hear things like, "Well, I guess I can help you, but I'm really busy with my own stuff right now." They'll make the help they're offering sound like a burden, and their energy will often feel disconnected. It's almost like they're just going through the motions. What's more, this conditional support often becomes more evident when you face challenges. A person who is genuinely rooting for you will encourage you through both your successes and your struggles. They'll lift you up when you're down and be there to celebrate when you succeed. But a jealous person will only support you when it suits them. When things get difficult, they may pull away. They may act like your troubles are too much for them to handle, or even imply that you should have seen the difficulties coming. Instead of offering assistance, they may subtly criticize your efforts or suggest that your struggle is somehow a result of your own shortcomings. This lack of consistent support can be emotionally draining. At first, it might seem like they're just busy or that they have their own things going on. But over time, you start to notice the pattern. The moments when you need someone the most, they're nowhere to be found. Yet, when the situation is beneficial to them or convenient for them, they're there, offering just enough support to make it seem like they're on your side. It's like walking on eggshells, trying to navigate a relationship where you're never quite sure where you stand. You begin to realize that their support isn't given freely. It's something that has to be earned, often at the cost of your own comfort or success. What makes this behavior even more frustrating is that it can be disguised so well. It's not as blatant as outright criticism, and it's often hard to call out because it's disguised as being helpful or being there for you. The jealous person might not even recognize it themselves. They may believe that they are doing their best to support you, but deep down, their actions are colored by the need to protect their own self-image. They might think, if I help too much, they might surpass me. Or if I cheer too loudly for them, I look small in comparison. So they offer help that feels lukewarm or half-hearted, and when you need it most, their support disappears. One of the hardest parts about dealing with conditional support is that it often leaves you questioning your own worth. You start to wonder if you're asking too much or if you're somehow not deserving of their full support. The truth is, you are deserving of genuine encouragement, and the lack of it from a jealous individual says far more about them than it does about you. It's a reflection of their internal struggle, their inability to truly be happy for others, and their tendency to keep score in relationships. When you recognize this pattern of conditional support, it's crucial to not internalize it. Understand that their behavior is a result of their own jealousy, not your value or worth. You don't need to earn anyone's genuine support. It should come freely and authentically from people who truly believe in you and your journey. When that support is conditional, it's a sign that the person offering it has their own insecurities they need to work through, and that's not something you need to take responsibility for. In the end, the most important thing is to stay true to your own path. Surround yourself with people who are genuinely supportive, and recognize that those who offer conditional support or are reluctant to celebrate your victories might not be the allies you thought they were. Their hesitation to fully back you isn't about you, it's about them. And as difficult as it may be, it's up to you to recognize it and continue moving forward, knowing you have the power to succeed no matter who's on your side.